Dr. Michael and Dr. Emily were admired by everyone who knew them. Both were brilliant doctors who had built their careers through years of hard work and dedication. They first met in medical school, where their shared ambition and determination made them stand out among their peers. By the time they married, they were already seen as the perfect match, two talented individuals who were destined for success. Together they climbed the professional ladder, quickly becoming respected figures in their hospital. Their colleagues often spoke of them as a power couple, balancing demanding careers with what appeared to be a flawless marriage. Outside of work, their lives looked just as impressive. Their social media feeds displayed smiling photographs from vacations, elegant dinners, and charity events, creating an image of a couple who had it all. Friends admired their bond, while neighbors described their home as warm and welcoming, a place where joy seemed to live. On the surface, Michael and Emily embodied the dream life: wealth, respect, and love. Yet beneath the polished exterior, small cracks were beginning to form, invisible to anyone looking in from the outside. Hidden behind their perfect smiles were subtle signs of tension that no one paid attention to. The admiration they received only made it harder for them to reveal the struggles they faced in private. To the world, they were the picture of happiness, but behind closed doors, insecurities were quietly growing. Their story, once celebrated as inspirational, was slowly preparing to take a darker turn. As time went on, the flawless image of Michael and Emily's marriage began to shift in ways no one else could see. Their demanding schedules kept them apart for long hours, and the connection they once shared started to weaken. Michael, with his calm demeanor and natural charm, became well-liked not only by his patients but also by the nurses and staff who worked with him. People admired his kindness and the way he always seemed to know how to put others at ease. For most, it was a sign of his professionalism and character, but for Emily, it stirred feelings she could not ignore. What once made her proud now created doubt. She began to notice how often people complimented him, how nurses lingered a little longer in conversation, and how patients spoke of him with gratitude. At first, she told herself it was harmless, just part of the job, but as the days passed, the unease grew stronger. The whispers in the hospital hallways, the casual remarks about how fortunate she was to have him, only fed her insecurities. Slowly, Emily's mind became consumed with suspicion. She started watching Michael more closely, waiting for a mistake that would confirm her fears. At home, she checked his phone, looked through his pockets, and monitored his late arrivals from work. The trust that once formed the foundation of their marriage was fading. To the outside world, they remained the perfect couple. But inside their home, Emily's growing jealousy was beginning to poison everything they had built. One evening, as Emily went about her usual routine of checking for anything unusual, she came across something that shattered the last of her trust. While tidying Michael's car, her hand brushed against a small box tucked beneath the seat. Curiosity turned into shock when she opened it and discovered a beautiful bracelet, elegant and clearly expensive. It was not his, and in that instant, every doubt she had carried for months seemed to harden into certainty. The bracelet became, in her mind, undeniable proof that Michael was hiding something from her. All the nights she had questioned his late hours, all the messages she had checked, and every whispered comment she had overheard seemed to connect to this single discovery. Her thoughts spiraled out of control, feeding a storm of rage and heartbreak. She began to view her life as a carefully crafted lie, with herself cast as the fool who never saw the truth. From that moment, her perspective changed completely. At work, her smiles grew strained, her energy faded, and exhaustion marked her face. Colleagues whispered about how tired she looked, but no one guessed the reason behind it. Michael, unaware of her discovery, carried on with his duties, greeting patients and making plans as if everything were normal. He had no idea that each passing day brought him closer to danger. Emily could no longer see the life they had built together. All she could see was betrayal. In her mind, anger was overtaking reason, and revenge was becoming the only answer. Late at night, when the house was quiet and the world outside seemed still, Emily decided to put her plan into motion. For weeks, her mind had been consumed by anger, and now she felt there was no turning back. She carefully measured a lethal dose of medication, one that only her medical training allowed her to prepare with such precision. To the untrained eye, it looked like a harmless drink, something ordinary and routine, but hidden within it was enough poison to end a life. She moved through the evening calmly, her actions deliberate and steady, giving no sign of the storm raging inside her. When Michael came home, exhausted from a long day at the hospital, he accepted the drink without hesitation, trusting his wife as he always had. Within hours, the effects began to show. He grew weak, his body struggling in ways that made no sense for a man who appeared so healthy. Soon after, he collapsed, his sudden illness leaving everyone in shock. When he was rushed to the hospital, his colleagues fought desperately to save him, bewildered by how quickly his condition had deteriorated. At first, it seemed like a tragic medical emergency, a sudden and unexplained failure of the body. But as tests were run, inconsistencies surfaced. Toxic levels of a rare drug were discovered in his system, raising questions no one could ignore. Investigators began to connect the dots, and slowly the focus shifted from a mystery illness to a deliberate act, pointing alarmingly close to home. The investigation into Michael's death quickly moved from confusion to suspicion as more evidence came to light. Detectives examined hospital records and noticed that certain restricted medications had been accessed in unusual quantities. These drugs were not part of Michael's treatment and had no reason to be in his system. When cross-checking access logs, one name appeared repeatedly: Emily's. At first, colleagues refused to believe she could be involved, clinging to the image of her as a devoted wife and respected doctor. But the deeper investigators looked, the more disturbing details emerged. Her computer revealed late-night searches about drug dosages, symptoms of poisoning, and how long it would take for certain substances to act. The discovery of the bracelet, hidden in Michael's car, was highlighted as the spark that fueled her jealousy. Together, these pieces of evidence painted a chilling picture of premeditation rather than accident. When Emily was confronted, her calm facade crumbled, and the story of betrayal and rage began to unfold in full. News of her arrest shocked the community. The couple, once celebrated as an inspiration, had now become the subject of a tragic and horrifying scandal. Patients who once trusted Emily could not reconcile the healer they admired with a woman accused of such a calculated crime. In court, the carefully built image of a perfect life was torn apart, exposing the darkness that jealousy had created. Their story, once filled with promise, became a haunting reminder of how love, when twisted by suspicion and envy, can lead to devastating consequences.